Welcome. We are here today to talk about Slack and Slalom's journey with Slack and how they use Slack to drive better connection and create better community. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with Anne. Anne, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and just let me know how you've been using Slack and for how long, and particularly now that we're working remote?
Yeah, hi, I'm Ann Skelding. I'm a regional operations manager with Slalom Build, and I've been with Slalom for over 4.5 years now, and we've been using Slack since February 19 when it was implemented across Slalom for Build. And it has been our central location for everything from culture activities to learning initiatives. Whereas before we were working from home, it used to be just kind of sharing some memes and hey, here, there's pizza in the kitchen, come on and get it. So it's really become part of how we live our lives every day while we've been working remote.
Awesome. So Carrick, I'm going to pass it over to you. If you can introduce yourself, let us know how long you've been using Slack and how has it helped create community for you, particularly working remote?
Yeah, great. Carrick Carpenter, Managing Director in Slalom Build, and also same as Anne, I've been using it since the inception at Build. So I've been here 3 years, and it has been a game changer for Build. So Slack has allowed us to create real communities and maintain those, our in-person culture, maintain those during the pandemic. And for those that have joined us during the pandemic, it's helped us show people what Build really is and bring them into our world by, Anne mentioned memes, etc. We've got our dad jokes channels, city locations can stay current on what's going on where they live. Capability updates for people that are software engineers or data engineers, quality engineers can stay close to their craft members and collaborate together. And we can start up ad hoc collaborations, just quickly spin up channels, brainstorm, understand what's going on, and continue to do it as though you're in person or as close as we can get. We get to watch key updates from partners like Slack. We get to understand what's going on by subscribing to those current events. We can stay current with, things like security vulnerabilities, making sure everybody's aware, getting those notifications out, which has been great. So if you need to answer questions or have topics that you're interested in, you can. To manage the business, we have things like year-end planning and training support, very specific technology support areas, React Native as an example, or chatbots, leadership, simulation technologies. But then you can also just have fun, opportunities to take part in channels that matter to you. Go find the latest podcast, murder mysteries, the latest nonfiction book. If you're interested in running clubs, we've got those. If you like Dungeons and Dragons, we've got plenty of active members of that group as well. Cars, pets, home security, you name it. But ultimately, Slack makes Slalom feel much more personal, intimate, and smaller. You get to engage with what's important to create a sense of true community. And then I sincerely mean, Build would not have retained its culture in the pandemic without Slack maintaining it.
That's awesome. Okay, Anne, I'm going to pass it back to you. And can you give us an example of an unexpected way that you used Slack that you did not expect?
I think touching on what Carrick just mentioned about Slack making it feel small and personal, and we still have this intimate connection. I think the thing that I didn't see coming was using Slack for global connection with our builders around the world. As Slalom has continued to grow and Build has continued to grow, we've done so across the globe, which has been awesome. So one of my favorite channels is actually our Build Everywhere channel, which brings together builders from Atlanta, Toronto, Seattle to Melbourne, the UK, and now Tokyo. So it's been awesome to watch the team grow and also to watch the team connect through Slack. So that's enabled a lot of really fun connections. Everything from, we did an Australia road trip through all of our North American build centers because Australia grew while we were working remote during the pandemic. So this was a great way for our teams to actually connect and get to know people that they might not actually work with on a project because of the time zones, and actually forge some real connections. And it's been great to watch that happen, and we wouldn't have had that happen without Slack.
Fantastic. So Carrick, over to you. What I'm assuming you've used tons of other collaboration and communication tools, but what is it about Slack that makes it easy to connect and be part of a community?
So everything Ann just said and the things I talked about previously, we can do with customers. It is so easy to use the connect features to realize those same benefits, and we do it. We can integrate with other third-party platforms. Just pick one like Teams. If we need to kick up a video, we can do that. We love the integrations there. And, in general, there's just much less overhead to quickly spin up topics, create groups, tag follow-ups. It's a very low friction way to create communities and retain them. And other tools, they're site-based or project-based, and your culture gets a little lost in the sites. So it's hard to retain the culture across sites. And, I think Slack has very uniquely solved that problem. Beyond that, a little bit of alerting fatigue is something I've noticed in the past. You're able to mute to some degree, you're able to hide, but unless the site's deleted or made invisible, alerts are going to happen passively. And they're going to put things in front of you that may not need action, that are confusing. So I guess in Slack, I can just more easily categorize alerting importance and focus on what's needed. And then with other tools, work will ultimately happen remotely. Those tools are effective at that, but the community feels not there, and the work is more transactional.
Fantastic. Okay, Anne, I'm going to ask you, have you seen any tangible results? Has anything that you can measure, any metrics or anything that that you can point to using Slack?
I think the first tangible outcome of using Slack is the number of rooms that we have. We have over 1,000 public channels. So that doesn't include all the private channels that people have for projects and initiatives. Personally, a really tangible result for me has been our onboarding team across Build. We've been actually spinning up channels just to address all of our onboarding needs in one place. So like Carrick said, there's a lot of stuff that can get lost and all of the other collaboration tools. So for us, we've really been leveraging Slack to actually stay really aligned as a team, especially when things take a little bit longer while we're working remote and we need to be even more connected. So it's been really great for us to have all of our resources in one spot and go to that channel and to actually use it for quick Q&A, questions with the team, and also to share our experiences across the team. So that's been a huge. But I think the thing that I love the most about it is really feeling truly connected. All of the channels that we have, from everything from Dungeons and Dragons, like Carrick said, all the way up to channels for our inclusion, diversity, and equality needs. And that includes a space for everyone and everything. And that's one of my favorite things about it. If you can think it, you can pretty much find a Slack channel for it.
Awesome. Okay, lastly, Carrick, I'm going to go to you. And if you could give any advice to new users or help folks get started on Slack, is there any place that you would point them?
This is a hard one because there's so many fun things you can do, but I'll prioritize, I guess, by saying, learn to create sections for priority contacts and to group channels by context and priority. You can expand and collapse and hide things. Again, focus on what's important. There's a sidebar feature to manage that very quickly. Try the search out across channels. I mean, I think you can get to really see the power of the community by picking a topic and searching across 1,000 channels that are out there. It becomes a little bit of a knowledge repository, or it shows you who the contacts are on a topic to quickly navigate the organization. Set up alert notifications that work for you per channel or per section. You have very fine grained control, take advantage of it. So you stay on top of what matters. Learn to tag things as follow-ups. If you're an email power user and you flag things for follow-up, you can do the same thing in Slack, and you can manage your tags in a very similar way. I like to use the delay feature or schedule sends, just so I don't jam people on vacations or after hours. Hopefully they have their settings in such a way that they're not going to get bothered, but I care about that. So I want to make sure, as we try to maintain a little work-life balance, that I'm not contributing to, taking away from that. And then only show the channels in your sections that actually have messages in them. Just declutter your space. And then I guess the last tip I would have, it's kind of fun, is if things are important to you, if a city's important to you, set up a keyword. If a technology is important to you, set up a keyword, and it'll notify you of things that matter. Again, everything is focus, attention, and priority, and it's just so easy to set up by using a few of those bullets.
Wonderful. Well, Anne and Carrick, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your Slack journey. I learned a ton. I hope other folks did too. And if you want to learn more from Slalom and about Slalom's journey, feel free to visit slalom.com/Slack and learn more. But thanks so much, and have a great day.